Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar. It's so nice to see you on Saturday, right? On Saturday, but we have exciting new features, and today I'm so happy and glad to be able to show you the preview of our release in April. We have new features, CAD features, we have full art implant bridges, we have crown lengthening guides, we have CAD features so we can create crowns and veneers and bridges. But I think today, one of the biggest changes that we have in the workflow is the full art implant bridge. And that's a really time-consuming workflow. That's a really it's not easy, right? It's not easy to get it done. So my biggest vision was to create something that is really so easy to use, and we can again focus our energy and our time on the patient, discussing with the patient the design, the facial harmony and everything, and not struggling with the technology and not struggling how we can create this full art implant bridge. And the full art implant bridge is actually part of the Smile design. And because we do have all our technology with the 3D Smile frame, with the 3D Smile frame that is automatically generated and created, with the couple of principles that we have, we really can super easy generate the full art implant bridge. And that's our topic for today. We do have around 90 registrations. So everyone who cannot be live with us today, don't worry, we'll record the session and we're gonna send the recording, right? We're gonna send the recording per email. We do have with us our team, Andrea Leon, and Daniela Gonzalez. So if you have questions, if you have any sort of, questions or feedback, you can ask the questions in the chat. We're gonna answer the questions. You can ask questions in between. So we're gonna spend time discussing the protocol, one of the workflows, like the ideal workflow that we have integrated. But of course, you have the flexibility to use different workflows. And I'm going to show you how easy and how fun it is, to create a full art implant bridge, facially driven. And in the same way, we create the Smile design, but much easier, actually. So I see our numbers increase. Nice. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. You're going to get the recording from the very beginning. So it's totally fine if you cannot make it from the very beginning. Okay, so let's go to the business part. Here we go. We do have a case that I want to show you. And like we create the patient inside SmileFy, right? And we put all the digital files together, and we create the digital patient by calibrating the files with the digital records that we have. So now, in this case, I want to show you a special case because we do have a lot of interesting workflows here. So we have the picture, and this case is from Justin McElroy. Thank you very much, Justin, for giving us the case and helping us with the workflows and everything. We do have the picture. As you can see, we have a broken full art implant bridge. And we do have following files: the scan of the bridge, upper, lower. We do have the scan of the gingiva with with the implant bodies, upper, lower. Okay. We do have the bite registration, right and left, the scan. I'm gonna explain immediately how we did it. And we do have the position of the implant bodies taken with, there are two systems, iCam and Peak Dental, right? So you can, with the special camera, with the photogrammetry, you can register and you can take the very precise position of the implant bodies in and create a 3D object, right? Upper and lowers. Now, we do have the files, and we need to calibrate all these files together. So the calibration is already done, because I created the calibration that takes a little bit of time, and I wanted to actually spend more time explaining everything what we do. The calibration is pretty easy. You set 3 points. I'm going to show you the overview. You set 3 points on the picture and the upper jaw. Then you go and calibrate the rest. So now, as you can see, we have all the files calibrated. As you can see, we have the original scan. We have the scan with the scan bodies. And we have the position of the implants. So how did I create the calibration? So let me open the project. So I open the patient files and we go to the calibration. The structure is very simple. You just follow the protocol, and the app guides you actually through the protocol. You see at the bottom, you have all the files that we have inside the app, the picture with the intraoral scan, right? So how do I calibrate? I do have 3 points on the picture, 3 points on the intraoral scan. If I go to the next scan, right? What do we have here? We do have the upper jaw and the scan of the upper jaw with the implant bodies, right? So we have both files calibrated. Why? Because when we design, we're gonna have the broken denture, the broken bridge as a reference, but we're gonna check our design over the implant bodies, over the upper jaw. What is the next scan? The next scan is the left vertical dimension of occlusion. In this case, you do have a patient situation, right? Now, just imagine that you need to check if the vertical dimension of occlusion is correct. If you have a bite registration, right, and you I don't have the proper bite registrations here, but I'm going to show like this. I mean, for the purpose of the explanation, it's good enough. Don't judge me, okay? Here, it's our bite registration. So you put the bite registration in the mouth of the patient, like this. And now we have a new vertical dimension of occlusion here, right? And then you scan the new position of the lower jaw. You scan the new position, and that's the piece of the scan that we use to calibrate the upper jaw with these teeth, because the canine and the two premolars are the same, right? Are the same. The lowers are in a different position with the new vertical dimension of occlusion. So that's very, very easy to define now the new vertical dimension of occlusion for our new design. We go to the right side. We do have also the right scan. You see? And now we do have upper jaw, both files of the new vertical dimension of occlusion, upper teeth the same, lower jaw, new position. And now we calibrate the lower jaw to the new position of the new vertical dimension of occlusion. So instead of the initial centric occlusion position, like the patient had in the mouth, like open, like a closed mouth, right? Like this, we open now the bite. So we have a new vertical dimension of occlusion, and that's actually the preferred protocol. In the new version of SmileFy, in SmileFy 3.0, you can open the bite digitally. Okay, so you do have also the option to open the bite digitally and to move the lower jaw, you know, in the new position. But we prefer really to define the new vertical dimension of occlusion with the bite registration with the patient, because the patient is gonna say in which position he feels comfortable, or she, where is the correct and the position that she feels or he feel good. Then we do have the new files of the, so we need to calibrate now the lower jaw with the scan of the implant bridge with the implant bodies, and then we calibrate, you see, the implant bodies from the peak dental or ICAM with the upper and lower jaw. Here we go. You see, now we have all files calibrated, and here we go in our digital patient. We have all these files properly calibrated. We have now, here we go. Let me increase the zoom. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I see the number increases. That's fantastic for a Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for your time, right? To attend a webinar from your free time, just to get our new workflows and our new vision for the full arch implant bridges. So here we go. Everything is calibrated, everything is superimposed. What do we have? We have the original scans, the original position, the original upper and lower jaw. Now the lower jaw is in the new position based on the based on the new vertical dimension of occlusion. Then we have our scan bodies, and we have the upper and the lower scan bodies. I'm gonna reduce here the opacity, and here we go. Where is the right video? Okay, here we go. So that's our starting point, right? That's our starting point. So do we have a question so far? Let me see. No, I don't know. Do we have a question? No. Okay. So I hope if you have a question for this first step, please let us know. universal scan bodies. No, for every single company has scan bodies, right? So depending on what implants do you have, the Peak Dental or iCam, they create for you the position of the scan bodies with the proper files. Okay. Oh, okay. Panelist Andrea, where are you, Andrea? Let me add you to the panelist. Promote to the panelist, and Daniela. And Daniela also to the panelist. Where are you? Daniela, here we go. Okay, now you're promoted to the panelist. Okay, perfect. Now you can answer the question. Sorry, you didn't tell me that I need to put you to promote you to the panelist. Okay, so far, what do we have? If you use iCam or if you use Peak Dental, right? You choose the scan bodies. You choose the company, and then you get the proper file. So let me show you, for example, Peak Dental. Okay, so let me share with you here the website. Here we go. Peak Dental, you see, you have this camera, and our friend Adrian Hernandez is the founder, and he lectures for us sometimes when he's in Miami. So here is the camera, and then you have the flags that you put in the mouth. You take the picture, and based on the position of the implants, and depending on the company that you use, then you can get the correct position. Okay, so this step is very important, because what do we have? We have upper lower jaw with the original bridge. We have the new vertical dimension of occlusion with our side scans, right? With our side scans. Here we go, like this. Now, we check the new vertical dimension of occlusion. We defined with the patient the new vertical dimension of occlusion, and then we scan the upper and lower jaw with the implant, with the scan bodies. They are perfectly superimposed with the upper and lower original scan, right? So we have now the accurate position, and then we calibrate also the scan bodies over the upper and lower jaw. We do have the digital patient. We have all these files superimposed, and it's, even if it's looks now maybe a little bit too much, it's not complicated at all. You just need to follow here. You just need to follow here the workflow, file by file, and then you just follow the calibration workflow. And if we have everything calibrated like this, then we have the starting point for our design. And I promise you, this step is actually the most time-consuming step of the whole protocol, because you need to define the vertical dimension of occlusion. You need to scan the original files and put everything together. Now it's the fun part, right? Now it's the fun part. We go to the 3D design, and we select upper and lower jaw. And we're gonna create everything based on our protocol. Very, very, very simple and super quick. So you're going to see, I'm going to explain more that I work on the app. So my vision is really that in 10 minutes, you have the design done and you can send to the printer. Of course, if you have accurate files, accurate calibration, then everything is super easy and super quick. So what do we have in the first step? We need to define the occlusal curve, right? We need to define how our automatic design is going to be generated. For that reason, we do have, like in 3D Smile Design, we do have our occlusal curve, and I move the targets around. And I create my occlusal curve. Now, because it's something that I want to do and design, my occlusal curve is gonna be touching the incisal edges, right? If we have a 3D Smile Design like a mock-up, then we go a little bit more buckly because we want to do the additive design. But now I want my new design to follow exactly the incisal edge of my denture. First step, occlusal curve. Second step, 3D Smile Frame. 3D Smile Frame, in my humble opinion, is the revolution of the 3D Smile Design, okay? Because smiles are 3D, and the 3D Smile Frame makes much more sense when we talk about references and how we calculate the automatic smile, because it doesn't make sense, you know, to start moving every single tooth around, because they are not random in space. They follow a certain path. So now let's set the smile frame. One of the options that we have is to display the original denture, the original bridge. I'm gonna keep the same incisal edge. I'm gonna reduce, let me increase here the size. I'm gonna reduce the height, okay? So that we keep the same size of the centrals for now. We're gonna see. What else? The midline, you see the midline, I'm gonna move the midline more to the left to keep the same midline like the denture. And you remember, we do have a 3D smile frame. It means that the midline goes along the occlusal curve. Okay, so the midline goes along the occlusal curve. We don't have any right and left movements because it's a 3D smile frame, right? So we do have the height, we do have the midline, and it's the frontal position. It's the frontal position of the smile. Now, in this step, let's discuss a little bit how we set the smile frame. So we do have two things that we need to consider. The number one is the central ratio. The central ratio is the height of the central is 100% and the width of the central, for example, is 80%, right? So that's the ratio of the central tooth. Then we have the red proportion, which is 100% width of the central, 70% width of the lateral, and 50% width of the canine. Visual width, right? Visual width, frontal view. To understand what is the field of view, or what do we see in the frontal view of our smile, when we have everything in position, what you see from the canine and even from the lateral is not the entire width of the tooth. You see the field of view is from mesial to the surface point that is here in due the rotation visible, because the distal line is here, right? So how the field of view changes, that's 90 degrees to the front, 30 degrees rotation, and 45 degrees. So in the frontal view, you're going to see only this area from the design, from the tooth, right? And then look how huge actually the differences are in the width, right? So width or visual width is not defined by the real width of the tooth. The width of what you see in the frontal view is defined by width and even rotation. Because if I rotate the tooth even more in this case, right? Let's increase the width of this tooth like this. It's much more, the width is much bigger, right? But if I rotate the tooth even more, my field of view is the same, right? So it's the same. I see from here to here, these two lines. So I cannot have any definition of the visual width of one of the canine, because it can be width, it can be rotation, it can be width and rotation, right? Okay, let's go back to our design. Where is it? Here. So we have the midline, we have the height, and these proportions now are based on the 3D smile frame. It's a little bit different. What we have here to adjust is also the occlusal angulation, because now our smile curve needs to follow the incisal edges of the smile here. That's good. Maybe a little bit more. That's good. So I think I'm happy with my 3D smile frame. Yeah, that's good. And now we go to the next step. Let me see if we have questions. The recording. Yes, the recording. So now the next step, we have the dental chart. I'm going to create a bridge with one molar, and we set. Now we do have here exactly what we discussed before. We do have the occlusal view, and I see in the original calculation, the width of our teeth is too big, right? So that's the distal of the central is too big. To make it simple, we have here the option all teeth. Now I can reduce the width of all teeth together, upper lowers. It's much easier for me to have one, but it's not reducing the occlusal view, the occlusal curve. That's very important. So the occlusal size, right, of our bridge remains the same, but I reduce the width of my teeth, and it's very, very quick and simple to do so. So I reduced with one click, and all the proportions remain the same, but I reduced my the width of the bridge. So it's not like the initial size reduction of a 3D object, because if you have an object, a 3D object, right, and you reduce the 3D object, you lose the occlusal curve, you lose the occlusal size. We don't lose the occlusal size. We just reduce the width, and we move every single tooth along the occlusal curve, and that's why it's so easy and quick. I'm happy with the size, and I click on generate smile. Now my smile is generated. Calculating, and here we go. We do have the new generated position of our teeth, right? Good. Let's go to the adjustments. Now, what we have is the new generated position of the teeth, they follow more or less, or actually they follow the position of the bridge that we already have, right? So I'm gonna now reduce the opacity of the original bridge, reduce. I go to analysis. I'm gonna put the smile in the mouth, and I'm gonna go to 4 views. And in the morning, when I check this case, I just realized that I'm gonna integrate a new feature, because that's always with every single case we learn something new, and then learning something new we add a new feature, but that's gonna be unbelievable useful, I think. So what do we have here? You see the position of the teeth is good, is pretty accurate. Upper lower jaw, right? Now, the difference in the workflow is that when we have something like this, I'm gonna add to the calibration a new option to calibrate the lower jaw, also based on the jaw position of the patient. So in the picture, we're gonna display the lower jaw in the position of the picture, and not in the centric occlusion, because that's something that I just realized, and it's much more useful, right, to have the picture with the jaw position of the picture and not in the centric occlusion. And then we have here the centric occlusion, and here we have the jaw position of the picture. So that's something that we're gonna of course correct. So now let's go here, and I'm going to show you now some really cool options. I have here something that I don't like it very much, but we can adjust here a little bit. So let me show you something. I'm going to adjust. Yeah, that's a little bit too wide. We're going to also still work on the automatic, on the automatic generation of the teeth position and size. You see, it's just a little correction here of the lower canines, but I think now it's fine. So what do we have here? And it's very important. When we generate the upper lower design like this, you can lock here the position. So here you cannot do anything, here you cannot do anything, but here you can still you still can move the design. Command R, you move now in counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. And Command S, you can just rotate like this to the side. So now we have the position of the implants. You see, lower design, upper design. We have the position of the scan bodies. I can go also free view and show you the position of the scan bodies and the generated design. That's very important to understand. The generated design is in occlusion and in function. So this design is in the right occlusion, in the right function. So you don't need to worry about anything, because it's generated automatically. What we can do, and that's interesting, and I think very easy to use, because that changes everything in a way. Now I decide maybe I don't like the position, right? The position of the defined occlusal curve is clear, right? Is clear. I still have the freedom here, the option to change the angulation of my lateral, for example. So every single tooth is still adjustable, right? It's still adjustable. In the group, if I go to group and smile frame, now what if I'm not happy with the occlusal angulation or occlusal plane that I have defined in the first place? What if I don't like the position of my whole design, right? I group all teeth, I group the smile frame, and now I do have here the options to to change, to adjust the position of my smile the way I want. I change the occlusal plane the way I want, you see? Even, very important, guided on. What does it mean, guided on? Guided on means that upper and lowers are linked together. So let's say I'm not happy with the buccal corridor, okay? I'm not happy with the buccal corridor. Good. How can I change the buccal corridor without redesigning the whole craziness? I group, I select one side, I select posteriors, and now I have the posteriors grouped. And look what happens. I can move my posteriors and I can change the posteriors. I can rotate and bring the posteriors to a new position. Also, the other side, right? The other side. It's guided. Upper and lowers, they go together. That's why guided on. If I turn group off and I want, for example, only the, let's say I want only the premolars, right? The canine, I don't like the canine here. So let me just a little bit the canine. You see upper lower canine still together. Size, look, size together. Why? Because I want to keep the relationship. Otherwise, everything goes out of control, and then I need to change everything. But here, guided is everything is together. You see, I select my premolar, my molar goes together. So I reduce here the size, the width, together with the lowers. So that's how I keep the relationship. That's one option, right? Guided links the upper and lower designs, the upper and lower tooth, so that we keep the occlusion and the function. And now sometimes there is another problem. She has a very big smile, right? She shows a lot of lowers. Let me reduce here the scan bodies. Okay. So she shows a lot of lowers. So maybe I'm gonna increase a little bit the size of the laterals. I link the size of the laterals right and left. I select the lateral, and now, oops, just a second. Let me orientate my like this. I think that's good. Position, lock, laterals, size. I increase a little bit the size of the laterals. That's fine. But how about increasing or moving actually everything, or increasing even the size of the uppers? Lower design. Look, I can increase in a group. I increase everything, you see, upper and lowers. And I move the whole design a little bit more coronal, so that we don't show so much lowers and we have more exposure for the uppers. That's the question of lip dynamics, right? The lip dynamics. One of the cases that inspired me actually to have all these options to be able to redefine the position of the occlusal plane was Scott McLean showed a case with a bridge design. Everything was good, everything was fine. You know, when you saw the design was good, but then he analyzed the lip dynamics with the DSD protocol, right? To record the video, to check in the video file of the patient, to check the lip dynamics, to see how the patient moves actually the lips when the patient smiles. And then he showed me the idea that after the beautiful design, the patient was an older gentleman and the face didn't move actually when he was smiling. So when he was smiling, that was in the video recording, that was the maximum he could smile. Where are the teeth? The teeth were not visible. But because he had in the vertical dimension of occlusion so much space, he increased the uppers, he decreased the position of the lowers, right? And he moved the full occlusal plane down, so that even with the small lip dynamic, the patient still showed the upper design, and the gums were not visible anyway because the upper lip was huge, right? So all these facial driven smile design, even if it's a full art implant bridge, the idea is to have the design with the face, the harmony with the face, everything with the face. And then we plan backwards and see where is the position of the gums, where is the position of the prosthesis, and we plan actually backwards until the smile is in the perfect position. Now, we do have the upper arch, we do have the lower arch. We have the scan bodies. Let's put everything together like this, right? That's gonna be much more useful when I'm gonna readjust the position of the jaw, you know, with the patient, in the patient's picture, in the patient's face. Mixed templates. Patients have preferences, right? I want a flat canine. I want closed embrasures. I want open embrasures. I want square templates. What are we gonna do? Are we designing everything new? No, we're not gonna design everything new. So you can go to the, let me lower design, because now it's more about the upper design. Oops. Where is the upper scan, lower scan here? Okay. Mixed templates, preview, flat canine. Okay. So what if we try now flat canines? What if we try a complete new template for the patient design, right? Or this one. Or this one. You see, it's almost, we don't have to adjust and to redesign anything because we do have the option to just exchange the templates and then to see the difference and to offer to the patient something else, to offer to the patient closed embrasures or flat canines or tipped canines and all this stuff. Mix templates, discuss with your patient, find out what the patient likes about the templates, what the patient likes about the centrals, the laterals, and then we can find actually a design that the patient likes. Yes, everything is on Mac, on iPad. It's gonna be available also on the iPhone, but I think the display, of course, it's very, very small. So you're gonna be more analyzing the project, right? But you can do it on the iPad and on the Mac. So mixed templates also a very, very important aspect of our Smile. And now we go to the next step, where we put the prosthesis, the gums. Now, let me show you how we do all this stuff. So for now, we generate gums, right? We generate the gums here. We're gonna have better calculations. That's only a prototype. So first of all, I need to reduce, I think here, the depth like this and the width more like this, a little bit of rotation. Let me see, and more lingual, more coronal. Here we go. We do have for the uppers, right? We do have the gingiva prosthesis. We can do the same with the lowers, and with the functionalities that we're gonna have. We're gonna, with one click, we're gonna adjust the prosthesis to the patient's gums. And then it's super easy, just one button, and then we do the calculations. We follow, we follow the patient's gums, and then you have the gums are also created super quick. Here we go. Now I don't like the laterals, so let me make them a little bit more fun. Yeah, just a little bit, reducing the height, and everything looks much better. So of course, considering the face and the facial harmony and everything, now it's really that's gonna be a high priority for me next week, because I want this jaw really in the picture position. I just realized that that's when we talk about right, the design and everything, we do have actually different perspectives on a smile, and with the picture we need to consider, of course, the position of the picture. Let me reduce here this one, because I want to show you something else. We do also have, the analysis of the facial flow. So we do have a disruptive facial flow. We do have a disruptive facial flow. Let me check the position. Okay, chin. Now we see that actually the whole occlusal plane, because we followed the patient's denture, right, goes on the lower third of the face. The lower third of the face is rotated towards the left side of the patient, right? The left side of the patient. So if we want to follow the facial flow, we can do so, but nevertheless, I think we're gonna correct a little bit here the rotation of our smile, even if it's not gonna follow now necessarily the actual denture of the patient, but let's say the actual denture of the patient, the full bridge was not very well designed, right? Not very well designed, so we don't need to follow the mistakes of the previous treatment. So we can have here a correction, and now we follow the facial flow, but we have a much more harmonic result. And we do have, you see, where is the actual design? Upper design. Prep. So that's the original, that's the original denture. And you see the original denture design was already canted, right? Already canted, but we don't need to follow. It's a reference, but we need to create something that looks much better. And upper design, here we go. Of course, I know that to be able to create something really special, we are gonna work also and create colors on the teeth, light reflection and colors. Now everything is white and gray because that's again, that's a prototype. It's the way we develop things and we create everything together. But you saw the whole design process was more explanation from my side than really working, because we just follow the protocol, and then we can get really something like this in 10 minutes, and then we can send it to the printer, and then we can print. And if you have the scan bodies, then it's really immediate loading full art implant bridges. And it's really fun because now we are flexible. We have the control about the design. We can discuss with the patient. We can create something that is easy, fast, makes more sense from a harmony perspective, facial harmony perspective, and then we can use all these features easily in our full arch implant bridge. We go to the mesh editor. It's like the 3D, right? We go to the, it's the same flow like the 3D. And here we do have the option to readjust the gums, of course. And I'm going to show you how easy everything actually is. So let's go with the uppers. Okay. Zoom in. See, everything is white. We're going to work on the colors. That's, I promise. So what we have here is very easy and cool. Actually, move. We are going to use the move brush. We're going to increase the size even more like this. And now look, I can readjust the position of my gums here like this. Here is a little bit shifted. So here we go. That's good enough. Let me see if this one, no, opacity. So here I can take the brush, I can add more material. Look, and I can redefine the gingival margins. That looks okay. Size, move. I'm gonna readjust here the centrals a little bit. We can go, you see, we can go from different perspectives, and in different perspectives I can cover now in a different way my gums. And of course, with that's something that I don't have right now in this prototype. But of course, we're going to be able with the CAD operations that we have to use the implant bodies and to create the holes to create the position of the implants here in the full bridge. So that's of course that's going to be part of the workflow, and that's going to finalize actually, right, what we do. And then you can print. You have the position of the implants, you have the holes, and then you can print and try in the design in the mouth of the patient, and then you're going to find out, you know, what the patient thinks. It's like a mock-up, right? It's like a mock-up. Then you can do the adjustments. If the patient requires some, you can do the adjustments. You can print again, and until you have the best solution. So do we have questions? All the questions are answered. Let's see. Okay, Andrea, I think you do have all panelists can sharing, yeah, the sharing, yeah, okay. So I think you have also something to add to our new features. April 2022, it's going to be a huge step for us. It's going to be a huge update, of course, with SmileFy 3.0 CAD features. We're going to have, as a summary, veneers and crowns creation. You can create bridges for temporaries. You can create guides, of course, crown lengthening guides. You can do the perio analysis. You can, but that's going to be a different topic, a new webinar, how to design a smile based facial driven crown lengthening, right? Crown lengthening, what are the steps? What is the decision process? Osteoplasty, no osteoplasty, how the design looks with osteoplasty, without osteoplasty, so that you can show the patient really A-B conversion and say, okay, if you don't want to go to the full treatment, that's going to be the result. That's going to be the result. So crown lengthening guides and treatment plans, different treatment plans for crown lengthening. Then we have the full arch implant bridge, upper lowers, which can be directly printed. And with the CAD features, we're going to have so much more. We're going to have prep restorations. It means you do have a patient with veneers or crowns. You need to do everything new, right? You take everything off, and the prep tooth of the patient is destroyed, or it's not in the ideal color, in the ideal position. We're going to have a super easy way, instead of a tooth, to add a prep template for every single tooth, an ideal prep template. So you're going to put the prep template on top of your existing prep. You're going to resize, rotate, and place the prep properly. You are going to be able to reconstruct the actual prep and then to put the design on top. We're going to have, what else? We're going to have, of course, also gum prosthesis if you have a design, right? And then you have, maybe you need an implant and you don't have enough bone. Then you have also a gum prosthesis. Super easy. You just select the gum prosthesis. It's going to be calculated automatically in the space, and then with the CAD features, you can reform the gum prosthesis based on the patient gums, right? Frontal smile analysis, also a very, very exciting topic. If you design the smile, we're going to have a very, very easy to use feature to analyze the zenith of canine, lateral, and central, create the triangles, and then compare the angulations and see if your design is symmetric. What you can improve with the DICOM file, you see if you can do maybe a gingivectomy just to reshape the form of the gingiva and to create the symmetry of the social smile, right? Canine to canine. Super easy to use, automated, and that's kind of raise, the quality of the way we see smiles, the way we plan smiles and design smiles for our patients. So yeah, and full art implant bridges. Of course, many ask me for the implant surgery guides, but I think that's gonna be one of the next steps, right? We don't have the freedom not to create then the implant guides. But yes, so very, very new stuff. And I hope you're gonna enjoy everything what we develop, and it's gonna make your life easier and your patients happier, and you are gonna have much more fun, you know, being the architect of the smile actually, and owning the project and making the decisions and the adjustments for the best smile for your patient. Good. So, Andrea, do you want to
Yes,
take over?
Ralph. Hi, how are you? I'm going to share my screen to show them the new pre-release offer. So we have, for the new premium member, we have the pre-release offer. Is the exclusive bundle. It is $1,999, and you will have include the 6 full arch implant bridge designs, plus the annual premium plan membership and the implant bridge design masterclass. For the premium, like the already premium members, we have the pre-release offer is 6 full arch bridge designs. It will be $699 to upgrade the plan. That means that they will save 60% on the design. I'm going to share on the chat the link for all the participants to take a look, review it, and also I'm going to add, and Daniela as well, we're going to add our direct contact number so they can reach us after the seminar. Good?
Okay, thank you. So, do you have more questions regarding the protocol, the calibration, everything what we have discussed? For us, it's always the same workflow, right? It is calibration of the files, making the decision of the new vertical dimension of occlusion, generating the teeth, adjusting the design between the arches, making the decision of the eventually new occlusal plane or rotation, facial driven, right? We do have the visual reference of the position of the implants, scan bodies, everything. Then we're happy with the design, Boolean differences. We create the holes, we create with the operations, we create the positions, and then we export and print. It is much easier actually than the 3D smile design, because if we generate automatically lower and upper arch, then we just go with the flow, we just go with the workflow, and everything is fine. It is more it's gonna be more complicated if you have the lower arch, for example, right, with teeth, and you need to adjust the design on the uppers. That's another story. But it's the function and the occlusion needs to be then adjusted to the actual situation of the patient. But otherwise, in cases with full mouth restorations, that's going to be a complete different workflow. And I know in different systems, people are complaining, oh, we need 2 hours, you know, just to create the full arch implant bridge, to put the teeth together, to make the position and everything. We do it in 10 minutes. We do it in 10, 15 minutes. We want you to have, you know, the focus on the patient and the design and the harmony. And when you understand the principles of the workflow, then it's easy. You just follow everything the way it is. And of course, we're going to improve and make everything much easier. Even the gums, we now calculate based on on the decision of your occlusal curve and the design to adjust more the gums, you know, to have less adjustments of the prosthesis, so that you have actually from the beginning a very, very clean generated smile. Are you currently endorsing any printer, Alberto? So we have inside the app now the connection to Asiga, and we have the connection to Formlabs. We are connecting Nextend, and we're connecting Accureta. But because some of you have the printers on Windows computers, we now also develop a SmileFy 3D print app on Windows, So you can export actually all your stuff to the cloud. You just select print to the cloud, and from the cloud, this Windows SmileFy app is going to be updated, and you get inside the SmileFy app your files, and then you just click on a button, and we send directly the files to the printers. Accureta, Formlabs, Nextend, and Asiga right now. SprintRay, we are not connected yet to SprintRay. Maybe in future we're gonna have also a connection to SprintRay. Landon, that's actually what we want. The problem is we need also to import all the pieces of the implants from all the companies inside SmileFy. So I don't know how many implant companies are, and I don't know how many implant companies have all the pieces. But I think that we're gonna create, if you do have, for example, a company that we don't know about, right? And you have the pieces from your from the screw vents or whatever you have, you can import these STLs, you can import them freely in SmileFy, and you can create like your own library, right? And then you can put them in place, and you can create them. You can create the full design to the end. But of course, that's, for us, it was just the first step, and we're gonna add now as many implant companies as we can, so that you have all the components inside also SmileFy. Otherwise, you in the worst case scenario, you can export your, it's a free project, right? It's an open project, so you can export all the files as separate files, upper jaw, lower jaw, implant bodies, scan bodies, design, gums, everything is as an open project in one file. You can import all the files in your implant software, and then you can continue there, but you do have the design facial driven, you have everything done, and then you can continue in your implant software putting you know, the screw vents and everything what you need in your implant software. So, do you have more questions? Okay, thank you. So, good. The link does not show the screen Andrea showed.
It is at the end of the page. They need to scroll down. That is the direct link or the pre-release offer. So they need to scroll down, explain everything about the design service, and at the end they will see the offer.
Okay. So where did you in the chat? Where did you put the link? Andrea?
Yes, I put the link on the chat.
Can you share it again, please? I don't have it. Why?
Daniela just put it again, I think.
Let me see. Oh, I was in the wrong. Okay, I was in the Q&A. Oh yeah. You need to scroll down. Yes, you need to scroll down in the page. We explain everything, but yeah, So it is for us. It's a very, very exciting move with all the new features that we have, and we're very happy that we would do more dentistry, and we can create more beautiful smiles, putting workflows together. And yeah, does the $699 upgrade not include the implant masterclass? Do you have any answer to that, Andrea? The masterclass.
Apparently it doesn't show there, but it's going to be include the masterclass for either the already members or the new members.
Yeah. So as a rule, every single new feature that we have is included with the masterclass, because that's the most important. That's the most important part, right? To have the tutorials, to have the masterclass, and then just to follow step by step the protocol, because there are many protocols, and we want to do something very, very simple. I saw also a question with the Plan Mecha scan, right? Plan Mecha scan. Oh no, not Plan Mecha. So you can use all the iOS scans that you have. It doesn't matter. You can use, you just export as an STL or an OBJ, and then you can import in SmileFy all the files, no matter what. So okay, so we had issues last week on lower design for provisional, still not saved. Can you give us more information? What exactly, Stephen? What was the issue with the lower design? I know there was one issue in some cases in the mesh editor. The lower design was, I think, was not loaded, but that's already fixed, and we're gonna have next week, during the week, we're gonna have an update with this small fix. In some cases, when you go to the mesh editor, you have the centric occlusion, but in some cases the lower design was not loaded. So that's fixed. Next week we have an update. If that's the issue, then we are on it, Stephen. If it's a different issue, then I don't know. Yeah, Asiga, exactly. Yeah, Asiga and formats. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed our quick and very intense webinar on Saturday. We're gonna let the chat for a couple of minutes so that you can ask more questions. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you're gonna enjoy everything what we are doing and everything what we're gonna release in April. And we're gonna grow together, you know, our expertise and the workflows and everything, and we're gonna create more and more beautiful smiles. Thank you, guys. Bye.